Hey, you fucks. Welcome to episode 1, officially official. Episode 1 of the Business of Fear podcast. You can find me on YouTube, Business of Fear, one word. And you can find me on SoundCloud, Business of Fear over there. I think it's broken up into different, or 3 words on that one. But I don't know, I'm all over the fucking place. On Instagram at Mr. Luis Antonio. You can find me over there. I post a lot of pictures. I posted a Conan pic today. Frank Frazetta's famous Conan pic where he's on top of that hill with a chick on his leg and there's just carnage underneath him. Because today is Robert E. Howard's birthday. The creator of Conan and Cole, Solomon Kane. Just a really awesome fantasy writer from way back in, quote unquote, the day. It's cliche to say that, but it doesn't fucking matter because that's not what that's about. This is the top 13 of 2017, and I was going to do my top 13 films in general because I wasn't watching enough horror movies, and I figured I'd just do an overall thing, you know. But eventually I got into it, and I'm like, I'm so close. I might as well just watch a few more here and there. So I waited, and I watched more and more. And I ended up having enough to do a top 13. And I'm pretty sure my list is going to differ from a lot of people's lists. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get into it. I mean, I don't know what else to really say. So, number 13. That is Annabelle Creation. This is the prequel to the prequel of The Conjuring. They're going back in time. Very, very kind of interesting concept there with how they're doing that. I mean, I can't think of many movies where they go back further and further into the timeline of things. At least with like a prequel of a prequel. Who the fuck does that, You can't say Star Wars because Star Wars has prequel and then has a sequel to the prequel, which I guess is still a prequel, but fuck it. It's not the same. It's not. Anyway, Annabelle Creation. A lot of people were talking shit about this. I didn't really have a problem with it. Oh, I should point out too, for anyone who doesn't want to listen to this bullshit, I'm 3 minutes in, there's going to be a lot of talking about these movies, and I'm going to be all over the place probably. There's going to be a normal top 13 video. It's going to be like a minute 28 or whatever, however long those videos are on my channel. There's going to be a normal top 13 video on my channel. Again, if you don't want to listen to this, just go over there. It takes a minute and a half to see my top 13. And that's just for the people who don't want to fucking listen to this. But back to Annabelle Creation. They show you how Annabelle started, how it all began back in the 40s, and then you jump to the 1950s, 1955 to be exact. And when a movie goes back and does a period piece like of this century, my favorites are always the 80s and the 70s. I don't care too much for the 60s. I don't care too much for the 50s and beyond that. But I like this. I like the 50s setting for this. You get to see, the name origin for Annabelle, the origin of the doll, how it's made, why it's haunted, or how it gets haunted rather. Better than the last Annabelle, I would say. I think that's probably the consensus. Not consensus. Is it consensus? The group vote type thing. That's the majority's opinion. There we go. Of Annabelle creation is that it's better than the other Annabelle. And I would say it is. I don't think it's better than The Conjuring. I don't think it's better than The Conjuring 2. Will it be better than The Nun? I don't know. The Nun comes out this year, though. I'm pretty stoked about that. But Annabelle creation, number 13. I dug it. Probably not. It probably edged out a couple other movies. Like, it wasn't a big hitter for me, but I enjoyed it. Number 12. Kind of a surprise probably for a lot of people. But that is Never Hike Alone. A Friday the 13th fan film. It's just under an hour, like 50 something minutes. And I enjoyed it. It's been a while. It's been almost 10 years since the last Friday the 13th film, which was the reboot or the remake, whatever you want to call that, from 2009. This one is a found footage film, and it's about a guy who goes out in the woods and, stumbles across Camp Crystal Lake, and of course he finds Jason. It looks really good. It's when you hear fan film, you see a lot of, I don't want to say bullshit. There's heart that goes into these things because they're made by fans, obviously. But this thing it's very well made. It works for what it is. And if you're a Friday the 13th fan and you haven't watched this, it's probably one you want to check out. You might want to check out. I had seen some stuff on Letterboxd. It says popular with friends because I started following more people on Letterboxd. You can find me on there at Mr. Luis Antonio. But yeah, I saw people talking about, like, what the fuck is this? I Never Hike Alone. I remember hearing about it, but it kind of escaped my memory a little bit. So I went and I looked up on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can find it over there. And it's just under an hour long. Good little the plot is simple as fuck, but it's just well made, and it makes me want another Friday film. It's been too fucking long for me because Friday the 13th is my favorite franchise. And I don't know if this counts because it's a fan film, but fuck it, whatever. It's my list, so I'm gonna put it on there. At number 11, we have 47 Meters Down. This one is, I like the ending to it. I like the whole build up to it. I like shark movies anyway. Like, you had last year's The Shallows, which, people were calling the next Jaws and everything. I don't know why they said that, because I don't know if people know this, but Jaws isn't exactly a shark film. Yeah, it's driven by the shark. The whole story revolves around the shark, but it's not really a shark movie. It's about those characters. So calling The Shallows the next Jaws movie is weird because you got one main character, essentially. And with this movie, you have two characters. This isn't the next Jaws. It was never compared to Jaws. It was like the big shark movie this year, so it was compared to The Shallows. I saw some of that. But The Shallows, not The Shallows, 47 Meters Down is about two chicks who go, I don't know what they call it, but they're in those cages, they go down and look at the sea life and all that bullshit. And shit happens and they go 47 meters down. Yeah, that's where the name comes from. Clever. But I would say it's kind of run of the mill, but the ending is it sets you up a little bit. Not exactly spoon fed. You hear, fuck, I don't want to give anything away on any of these movies, but The ending is good. The ending is solid. It's a fuck. I can't say anything. Like if I was reviewing these, I would give spoilers all fucking day. But I feel like for some reason, because I'm not going in depth on them, I can't. I can't give spoilers. Fuck. It's 47 meters down. Number 11. At number 10. I don't know if this movie will be on anybody's list because this is one I kind of found randomly the other night, and I watched it, and it's a found footage movie. It's about these. It's in Quebec too. If you're a UFC fan or an MMA fan, and you know about a guy named Patrick Cote, he has a very unique accent, a unique voice, a unique way of speaking. He's from the French, Canadian areas of Canada, so he has a very unique way of speaking. There's some characters in this movie that sound just like him because it takes place up, I think, in Quebec somewhere. I mean, it's called Gracefield. It takes place in Gracefield, but I don't know if that's an actual place up in Canada. Maybe Moods knows. I don't know. Moods 616. But what did I say? The plot? Yeah, kids go up to a cabin in the woods. Fucking thing falls out in the backyard or back behind in the woods, and they go to investigate, and shit goes cray cray. But I liked it. I like the way it plays out is like a creature feature. When you get to the end, I know there's people who are gonna watch this movie and just say, "Oh man, the ending fucking sucks." But the ending is right out of a creature feature. Very, very cool for someone who's into creature feature films like myself. I don't want to say any specific ones because that'll probably give it away, but the ending is not what you're expecting. It's kind of out of left field. And I guess maybe it hurts it, maybe it helps it, who knows. You have to watch it for yourself, but I like it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. The Gracefield incident, I didn't hear anyone talk about this movie. Looking at the poster for it, it looks like complete shit. And I was going to try and find a DVD or Blu-ray of it, but it's just, for some reason, this thing's way too much money. Like, way too much money. I'll pay $10 for it, but it's like it's automatically out of print. So your only way you're probably going to find it is if you can watch it on Amazon, which is what I did. At number 9, a horror comedy. And it's more of a comedy than a horror movie, but still. Dave Made a Maze. This is a weird one. And out of all the movies on my list, this is the fucking wackiest one. It's about a guy named Dave, and he builds this labyrinth. And it's made out of cardboard, and like there's nothing dangerous in the labyrinth. Like, there's nothing there that could actually kill people, but people are dying, and they're dying in these weird ways. Like one girl, I mean, it's I think it's the first death, so I don't want to. It's not really exactly. It is spoiling, but it's like the first death, so you get some other stuff going on. But she gets her head cut off, and just pink yarn starts flying out. The whole maze is not dangerous at all, but yet they give you danger, and they set up danger, and they introduce danger. And there's decapitations, but it's not bloody. It's fucking weird. I liked it. That was number 9. You haven't seen Dave Made a Maze, you want to see something fucking crazy and weird, that's a movie for you. I don't know, I liked it. Speaking of a movie I liked, at number 8, I'm flying through here. This is pretty good. I didn't talk a lot of shit, so maybe I should slow down. At number 8, a movie I liked that I don't think anyone else liked. especially not the casual horror fan or the longtime horror fans or the hardcore horror fans. Nobody liked this movie. That's not true. I seen people liked it. They just didn't think it was all that good. And I'm not saying it's like incredible or anything, but Cult of Chucky. Yeah, I had fun with it. My girlfriend did not like this movie. And we watched it and she goes, that was awful. You know? I liked it. It was the second or third time that I watched it already. Maybe it was the second time. Who knows? But I like it. It picks up from Curse of Chucky, where Fiona Dourif is now in this mental hospital. You know, she's in there with a bunch of different patients. And Chucky finds his way inside and all hell breaks loose. And one of the big complaints about this, and I understand why it's a complaint, and I don't know why they did it either, but they ruin, or they I guess they do, they ruin the mythos for the voodoo in this movie. Like, out of nowhere, something is added in that was never there before, and it changes. This new thing that Chucky can do. I feel like I gave a spoiler there. God damn it. Anyway, Cult of Chucky, I get why people don't like that. But at the same time, it didn't bother me too much. I wouldn't say I don't like. I'm over the Tiffany character. Like, Jennifer Tilly's cool and all, but we don't need that. We don't need Glenn or Glinda. Fuck that chick. You know, I'm really glad they didn't bring her back. But fuck, I can't talk about that either. The very, very end, the after credit scene, that's fucking cool. They also brought back Andy Barclay. Of course, Alex Vincent, the original Andy Barclay too. That was really neat that they're bringing back all these different characters. Again, I could do without Jennifer Tilly, but that's just because I think I was rubbed the wrong way from Seed of Chucky. I don't hate that movie either, but I have major issues with it. Especially now, after so many watches. I'm not much of a fan of it. Yeah, number 8, Cult of Chucky. I dig it. I know other people don't, but whatever. At number 7, The Void. People kept comparing this movie to The Thing, and I don't really see it. I mean, there are a few scenes where it's kind of Thing-ish, but it's not like The Thing. A Lovecraftian horror, you want to call it that. I mean, that's more fitting, but to say it's like The Thing, it's not. It's not like The Thing. I mean, other than like the contained feel of the movie. Again, it's not like The Thing. Don't go in thinking you're gonna watch a reboot type of movie of The Thing, because it's not that. This one is, I would like to watch it again. I watched it one time. I would like to get the DVD or a Blu-ray of it so I can watch it again, but I thought, what's the plot of this? Okay, so there's a cult going on, right? And they're chasing this dude, and he runs into the police station. Or is that what happens? Holy fuck, I had to look this up. Hold on, I know what happens in the movie. I watched the fucking thing. The Void. There you go, plot synopsis.
When police officer Carter discovers a blood-soaked man limping down a deserted road, he rushes him to a local hospital with a bare-bones night shift staff. As cloaked cult-like figures surround the building, the patients and staff inside start to turn ravenously insane. Trying to protect the survivors, Carter leads them into the depths of the hospital where they discover a gateway to immense evil. There you go. Very, I wish there was more of it. What's the runtime? On an hour and a half? If this was longer, I would have liked it. I've been saying lately with a lot of other movies, I wish the runtime had been cut down. This is one of those movies that I wish it was a little bit longer. Or there was a sequel or something. I wanted more of this. Some things aren't explained. And I think there's room for detail on a few of the different aspects of this movie. The cult, I would like to know more about that, or like to see more done with the cult. The void itself, I'd like to know more about that. Again, I would like to get the DVD so I can listen to the commentary. I know those guys do commentaries. They have to talk about it. Give me some insight. Because I have a movie later that I watched, and I listened to the commentary on it, and it bumped my rating of it, I guess, higher, even though I don't rate these movies. I stopped rating them. It's overrated. The Void, though, it's a good one. It's a good one. I like it. I can't say it's a good one like I'm some fucking professional movie reviewer or something. Anyway, number 6. One of the movies here that I waited like patiently for weeks and weeks on, and I told a lot of people about it, and I'm like, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch it. And that is Better Watch Out. And I kept calling it Home Alone with Home Alone horror, the Home Alone the horror version of Home Alone. And it took my girlfriend Stephanie, aka Toxie, to say there's only one scene that's like Home Alone. And they literally say you're gonna Home Alone him, or something like that. So yeah, it's not really like the horror version of Home Alone. The trailer honey dicks the fuck out of you because it makes you think it's gonna be like Home Alone in a horror movie, but it plays out differently. There's a twist that goes on that it's new, it's different, and it works. And there's a twist at the end that it kind of feels a little, I don't want to say cheap, but the ending was a little bit underwhelming. But with the way it works out, the way the movie plays out, it works. This movie is about, I should probably do this before I start talking about the fucking thing. Anyway, Better Watch Out. It's already in my top 13 Christmas horror movies. I like it that much. Number 5. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan's Split. This is a movie that I kept hearing about. It came out in late 2016, but it, because of the release of it, it counts for 2017. Split is about a serial killer who has multiple personalities, and each one gets to talk or gets to take control for however long it's allowed. You have a woman who's very proper. You have a kid who's, a very childlike, very naive. You have another character, or another personality, who is like an OCD, clean freak. You have the main guy who, who is the vessel for all these personalities, he, he wants to know what the fuck is going on. He's constantly asking about, all this stuff. And I just had a huge fucking brain fart because I'm trying to think of their names. And I don't want to keep looking and pulling back and forth all these notes and stuff on the computer. But, yeah, he kidnaps these girls, and you start getting this story going on with this other personality, this final personality. And these other personalities are like subservient, and they're treating this one specific personality that they call the Beast, treating him like a god, and they're offering sacrifices. And I'm gonna go ahead and fucking spoil this, but I don't give a fuck. This movie takes place in the Unbreakable universe. M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable is this is the sequel to that movie. And the Beast is being called the Horde. And at the very end of this movie, very, very end of this movie, Bruce Willis is hanging out in a bar, and he talks. These girls are talking, and they ask what that one dude's name was who caused all this shit that happened years ago. And he says who it was. It was, Mr. Glass, which is going to be, or not Mr. Glass, but Glass is going to be the next and probably final movie in this trilogy of films. Is it horror? I think it's horror. People want to go on and say, it's a superhero movie, it's not horror. It's fucking ridiculous. This is a horror movie. It's, Brimstone is not a fucking horror movie. I don't give a fuck who says what. You can have that on your list all day long. You put a fucking Western on your horror movie list. People can say I put a comedy on my horror list too with Dave Made a Maze. But at the same time, you got a fucking Western on your horror movie list, so fuck you. It's a thriller. At number 4. I like Split, by the way. Number 4. It. Yep. This was the last movie that I saw in theaters. I got to see it with my buddies and my cousins and who was with me. I'm gonna give you some names that you've never heard of. You'll probably never hear of again. Who knows? But I went with Bubba Sawyer. That's his name. I went with Molly. I went with JJ. And I believe we went with Cecil. But I might be wrong. But it is the new adaptation of Stephen King's novel. We all know about the miniseries from the 90s starring Tim Curry. This is not a remake of that. This, in fact, is its own entity. And it's the first of 2 films. This is It Chapter 1. And I don't think I need to go in about what it is. Everyone at this point, if you're listening to this, you know what it is as far as the storyline of it. One thing I want to get into is people seem to fucking hate this movie because of, CGI, obviously. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of CGI. I shit on it all the time, but I see why that's a complaint. Sort of. I mean, there's some stuff in it I don't like. The very opening scene with Pennywise biting Georgie, that initial bite, I thought it looked like shit up on the big screen. So I can imagine what the Blu-ray looks like. But people are like, it's not even scary. It's not even scary. Pennywise is a lame character and all this and that. And I'm like, man, you're missing out on what this movie is. This is not solely a horror movie. This is a coming of age film. This is like The Goonies. This is For a more recent thing, this is Stranger Things. This is about the kids and what they have to deal with. And I talk about it all the time in these stupid Facebook groups. The kids are my favorite part. I love Pennywise, the character. I think as a horror villain, he's probably the most versatile horror villain since Freddy Krueger. There's so much that could be done with Pennywise, the dancing clown. Skarsgård did a great job, I think. He looks good, and his abilities and the way he does things, it's fucking cool. And I do like Pennywise. I think he's one of my favorite parts of the movie. One of my favorite things about the movie. Except I can't even talk now. But the kids are my favorite part. Bev is awesome. I love all the characters. All the kids are great. Richie, I think he's fun. I know some people don't like him. But I love Bev. That character is just, if I was like a 13-year-old kid, I would have a crush on this girl. And I can see a lot of, young kids who watch this movie are going to have crushes on this girl. Because they all grow through some, through some shit. But Bev has to deal with her fucking dad, who's just a creep. And being the only girl in this group of boys, and she has to deal with name calling and insinuations, and let's find out her name, because I want to make sure I get this right. Oops. This is a very exciting part of the podcast. Sophia Lillis. Finn Wolfhard, by the way, is a great name. Finn Wolfhard, who of course is the main kid from Stranger Things. Or did I make that up? I don't fucking know, man. My memory's so bad. I'm trying to remember all this bullshit. I gotta remember who Stranger Things kid is. Anyway, I'm trying to go under an hour, and I'm getting close. I'm halfway there, so that's not bad. It was higher, and the more I thought about these other movies that are, 1, 2, and 3, I was like, let me drop it down a little bit, pull it back. I like it, and I can't wait for part 2. I'm probably gonna try and watch that in the theaters. Really, really solid movie. One of those movies that didn't, it's long, but it didn't feel long. I wouldn't say the time flew by, but it wasn't like a chore. It wasn't like a Brimstone or like a Blade Runner 2049. It moves at a decent pace. One of the things about the movie that I like is the town. I love the town of Derry in this movie as opposed to the miniseries. This one feels like it's its own character, with the quote-unquote crack house and the tunnels and the actual streets of the town, with the little market, not the market, where all the goings on goes on. I liked it. People just, I don't know, people want to bitch and complain about new movies and, original for life. I hate remakes type of mentality. I don't get it. I like it. I like it. That was number 4. At number 3, this is one that I saw early on. This was probably the first 2017 movie that I saw, and that is Life. People want to call it an Alien ripoff. every fucking space movie with a crew that is attacked by a alien life form is going to be compared to Alien for some reason. You watch it, it's not really that much of an Alien ripoff. Maybe it is. Who knows? I try not to look at it that way. I think you're doing yourself a disservice to, compare it like that. If you like the movie, I think if you hate it, you're gonna hate on it no matter what. But life is about, some astronauts, and they're in a space station, and they recover something from Mars, and they find a life form, and the life form starts to grow, and shit gets real. It takes a little bit of time to get to it, but when it does, this thing it's a fucking nasty little creature. What's his name? Let's find out. I'm gonna do this a lot. I don't give a fuck. Here's a funny name. They call it Calvin. Yeah, Calvin is a nice little monster. If I were to do a villains list, Calvin would be pretty high on the list. Of course, Pennywise, but Calvin is he's a CGI monster. I thought for a few beats that there was practical effects, but I think it's almost all CGI. And for some reason I don't know why the fuck I thought there was practical effects, but this movie, Life, 2017, starring Deadpool, has one of the coolest endings of any movie on my list. Like, probably one of my favorite endings. Like, if I would look at what's on there, Annabelle Creation, Cult of Chucky, Dave Made a Maze, Gracefield Incident, up to this point, 47 Meters Down has the best ending until you get to Life, which I think has the best ending. I would say it right now. Life has the best ending of any movie on my list, and it has the best ending of any horror movie that I saw. Is it cliche? Maybe. Is it a surprise? It was to me. I thought for a second, oh no, like that, and then all of a sudden it hits you, and it's like, oh shit, they did it. But yeah, Life is a good one. At number 2, I was talking about movies that are long that don't feel long. Kong, Skull Island. Kong Skull Island is just over 2 hours, I believe, and that movie fucking flew by. Awesome movie. Horror, action, sci-fi, I guess. I fucking dig it, man. I saw this in theaters too. It was awesome. There's I don't know if it was done on purpose, but there's a reference to Cannibal Holocaust. Not going to talk about when it happens, but there is when you watch it, you're a horror fan, you've seen Cannibal Holocaust, and you're a fan of Cannibal Holocaust, and you go and you watch this movie, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because I was the only person, I want to say I was the only person who got it, because I was the only person who reacted, other than some people going that type of shit. But I saw it and I was like, whoa. It was awesome to see. Samuel Jackson, he's Samuel Jackson in this movie. The big surprise was God damn it, Step Brothers dude. You have to call me Dragon. Fuck, what's his name? Dewey Cox. What's his name? God damn it. Just typing over and over again. John C. Reilly. John C. Reilly was a big surprise. When I first found out that he was in this movie, I thought, oh man, that doesn't fit. You know, it's like Jack Black with the other King Kong movie. I'm like, it just doesn't work. I'm not saying Jack Black didn't work for me in that movie, but John C. Reilly, yeah, he was awesome. He was great. He played a funny character, and he was funny. He wasn't like, I mean, he said some silly shit, but most of it for the most part, it worked. Like, he's going crazy, and he's talking to Braga from Fast and Furious, and he goes, "I'm gonna stab you in the sleep." I'm gonna stab you in your sleep, or something like that. And all the people show up, and he goes, "We're gonna die here," you know, that type of thing. He's great. I think Kong looks good. He's not the on all fours type Kong like from Peter Jackson's movie. He's back to walking upright. He's back to being more new breed of ape instead of being more like a silverback gorilla. He's his own monster. And it sets up for King Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, which is going to be fucking tight. Everyone left in the theaters, by the way. My cousin and I think whoever we went with were the only ones left watching that movie when the credits played, because we wanted to see the stinger for the next movie, which I think comes out next year. That fucking sucks. What? Kong Skull Island? I know people debated on this being horror or not, but it's fucking giant monsters. And there's stuff getting killed, so. Number 2, horror enough for me. It's more horror than Brimstone. At number 1. Get Out. The debut of Jordan Peele, as a director. I think most people know him from Key and Peele. I, of course, knew him from Key and Peele. Get Out, man. I liked this movie when I first saw it. Oh, hold on. Okay, so there's a black dude, and he's dating a white chick, and they go to meet her white family, and then white people show up, and shit gets crazy. Get Out. Ah, man. Like I was saying, I liked it when I first saw it, but it wasn't like I thought it was amazing. And then I watched it again, and I listened to the commentary, and I was kind of blown away, because I was finding out all this stuff, and I did some research online, and the more I looked into it, listening to Jordan Peele's commentary and looking at wiki articles and all this stuff, the more and more I liked it. The whole mythos behind what's going on, the order of the coagula, the sunken place, the secret meaning behind some of the imagery and some of the shit that's going on, not just the social commentary, but what's deeper than that. People think it's automatically white people, and black people, which I guess it is. I mean, Jordan Peele comes out and says, it's about racism, but there's so much more to that. I don't know if he meant to do it, but again, there's so much more than just that. Like, people don't really see that, I don't think. And maybe it's because I've looked into this way, way deep. I've gone far down the fucking rabbit hole. But I looked into it, and
it's so much going on, man. There is so much stuff going on in this movie. Really, really solid first effort from Jordan Peele. Obviously, it's my favorite horror movie from 2017. I think all the actors and actresses did great. One dude, I didn't even recognize him. The first guy in the very first, like the opening of the movie, he's the dude in the straw hat that you see all the memes everywhere and the pictures and videos. That guy that freaks out and he starts telling our lead character to get out. You know, that guy, he's the very beginning of the movie. You know, he's that dude in the opening. I didn't even realize that. They were like, hey, that's that same guy. It goes deep. Like, as far as the movie itself, it's not a very big movie. It's not, it takes place in a couple places, you know, through telephones. And mainly in this one house. But even then, it just seems so much bigger than that. Because you learn the history. You learn about the auction. You learn about why. And the characters in this are fucking awesome too. There's a TSA character. You know, TS motherfucking A. You know, he's funny. He's hilarious. I don't want to get into spoilers again. I've been trying. I did spoil Split pretty much, but this is a movie that I could talk about a lot, like actual in-depth commentary on it. I kind of rushed through my entire list just because I didn't want it to be a long fucking video. But oh man, Get Out, my number one movie of 2017. And when I first heard about this, I thought it was kind of fucking dumb, to be honest. I didn't think I was gonna like it. And then I started watching these trailers and I started getting into it. You know, you read the plot synopsis. And it's fucking good. I know people have it low on their list. I know people are going to have it, you know, maybe not on their list at all. And I don't see how you couldn't have this somewhere on your list. I know there's a lot of horror movies that came out in 2017, and I get differences of opinions and taste. But, okay, you know what? I get why it wouldn't. Because I know why it's my number one, and that's because I did listen to the commentary. I did do all this research on it. There's a lot of Illuminati type shit that goes on in this movie. You know, and that's interesting to me that Jordan Peele created this whole mythos, you know, and he buried it. You know, it's not there. It's not spoon-fed. It's not even there for you to know about. You know, it's sort of there. It's the very, very bare surface. The very, very tip of the iceberg. And he has to tell you about it. You know, you have to listen to the commentary to find out about this stuff. Or look up these Wikipedia or wiki type things about the movie. Because he doesn't give it to you. No one would know about any of the hidden meanings behind some of this stuff if he didn't talk about it. It's not like it's hidden. It's just not there. Hidden. It's not like it's hidden. It's just not there, man. Yeah, that's it. I reckon we're approaching 50 minutes. Get Out, number one. Here, I'll go down to the 13. From 13. At number 13, Annabelle Creation. At number 12, Never Hike Alone. At number 11, 47 Meters Down. At number 10, The Gracefield Incident. At number 9, Dave Made a Maze. At number 8, Cult of Chucky. At number 7, The Void. At number 6, Better Watch Out. At number 5, Split. Number 4, It. Number 3, Life. Number 2, Kong Skull Island. And number 1, Get Out. No real honorable mentions. I did watch Phoenix Forgotten the same night I watched the Gracefield Incident. And even though they're both alien horror movies that happen to be found footage movies, Phoenix Forgotten is a way more serious in tone type of movie. The Gracefield Incident, again, it plays out like a creature feature, like a B movie. Nowhere near as serious. Both of them are good though. I like Phoenix Forgotten. It's not on my list, but I like that movie. Brawl in Cell Block 99, not a horror movie, but definitely a good one. Shout out to Zach. He knows about that shit. Everyone knows about it. Yeah, he told everybody about it, and everyone jumped on, and I think Zach's a big part of why that movie got some love. Got a lot of love. Leatherface, I watched Leatherface. I thought it was okay. It's fucking weird to think that's the prequel to the original, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You can't do nothing about it. It's there, it's made. It's out there. You can't erase it from history. It Comes at Night. I tried to like that movie when I first watched it. And I watched it 1.5 times, actually. I started watching it, went to sleep. I started the next day, and I watched it again. Started from the very beginning. Watched it all the way through. And the more I thought about it, the more I just didn't like it. I was trying to trick myself into thinking I liked that movie. And I get it. Don't try to tell me I don't fucking get it. I got it. Alright, I could explain what the fuck is going on in that movie, and I don't like it. I've said over and over again that it feels like the second act of a film stretched out to feature length time. It doesn't really have a beginning. It doesn't really have an ending. It does, but again, it doesn't. None of it is satisfying to me. There's too much open endings to our unanswered questions, why is this? Why did that happen? Who did this? Do these people know each other? What about those people? Are these people infected? What about these people? The title is the least of my problems with that film. The title is fucking stupid, I think. Again, it makes you think there's going to be a monster. That's why a lot of people are kind of pissed off about it. For one, I didn't see the trailer. I had no preconceived notions about it. I wanted to watch it because people are hyping it up, and I wanted to, check it out. I wanted to see what was going on. Curiosity got the best of me. I ended up watching it. I ended up buying it and watching it. I mean, if you like it, there's a lot of people who like it, and I would say the majority dislike it. Worst movie of all time? No. Worst movie of 2017? No. The movie is shot too good. It looks too good for it to be bad. Like, for it to be the worst movie. I think the fucking plot is empty as fuck, though. I think the story is just... It's there, but there's just not enough of it. I don't fucking get why people like this movie so much. I honestly don't. I can get why a lot of people like certain movies. I don't see why people like it. It feels empty, man.
And people are like, it's, this and that is left up to your interpretation. I'm like, it does it too fucking much. That's what feels lazy about it. From what I heard, this dude, he came up with it very quickly. And if that's the truth, then it fucking makes sense. Because this shit feels, quickly made. Not a lot of detail goes into the storyline. Let me just put this there and you figure it out. Alright, I'm going to write this scene. I'm going to let you figure it out. Let me go ahead and put this dream sequence here. I'm going to add some... and you're going to figure it out. I'm going to fucking rant on this movie one day. Because it deserves it. It's not a piece of shit, but it's a piece of shit. Again, it's well made. It looks fucking good. But the movie itself is just... fuck It Comes at Night. It's bullshit. And Brimstone is not a horror movie. Looking into it, I was gonna try and watch it again. The fucking thing is 2.5 hours. I don't have that kind of time right now. It's a thriller. It is 100% thriller. If you want to call it a horror movie, go ahead. Whatever. I don't see how it's a horror movie. It's a Western. To me, it is a Western. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, but as a Western, it's fucking awesome. Guy Pearce plays a fucking weird bad guy, a weird villain, whose main goal, it pretty much seems, is to have sex with his daughter. Have sex with some lineage of his daughter. Guy Pearce is the fucking leprechaun from Leprechaun 2. He's just going through the generations trying to fuck. But yeah, I know this is on people's list, but I don't fucking care. I mean, if I legit thought it was a horror movie, it would be on my list. And it would be maybe not too high on the list. I'll watch it again one day. Maybe I'll change this around. I'll watch more horror movies and probably make some changes to it someday. I am going to watch It Comes at Night probably a couple more times before I ever review it. But yeah, coming up on an hour here. Oh, I know I rambled all the fuck over the place. And if you stuck out this far, yeah, thanks. You can find me on youtube.com/BusinessOfFear. One word. You can find the podcast on SoundCloud. You can find my personal account on Instagram at Mr. Luis Antonio. You can also find me on Letterboxd at Mr. Luis Antonio. Now, I don't think you put ad on there. You just put in Mr. Luis Antonio. One word on that. But yeah, I think that's it. Episode 2, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe a review. Maybe most likely a review. I'm just stalling right now, trying to get to 1 hour even. I'm enjoying this. I'm digging it. I struggled a little bit through here. I pushed through it. I feel like I ran through this rather quickly. But I didn't want to give spoilers. I knew beforehand I didn't want to give out spoilers, so I was trying not to. I would think, and I don't want to give, I feel like if I give a synopsis away, I would give something away in the movie. So I kind of stumbled around a lot when I was talking about the plots of the movies. But yeah, this is fun, and I hope you people stick around a little bit. Not too long. not as long as everyone else. I just need you to be around for a little while. I'm gonna keep putting these bitches out. I like it, but as long as I got one person to listen to, like in the videos, I don't give a fuck how many views it gets. Like on YouTube or on SoundCloud. I like being able to get my word out there, get my voice out there and talk about this shit. If it gets one view, I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. I'm doing this right here, the podcast, this thing right here, for me. Mainly for me. And I'm enjoying it. I don't get paid for this. I don't monetize my videos. If you see an ad, it's because whoever owns that content has put an ad on it. It's not my thing. I don't get paid for this shit. But yeah, I will see you back for episode 2 of the Business of Fear podcast. See you fuckers later.